हेलो एवरीवन, जय हिंद एंड वेलकम टू द प्लेटफॉर्म ऑफ श्रीराम्स IAS वंस अगेन। आप सभी का स्वागत है श्रीराम्स IAS के प्लेटफॉर्म पर। एंड टुडे विल बी डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द मॉनसून एनोमली एज वेल एज द सरप्राइजेस दैट वर देयर इन इंडिया। इसके बारे में आज के सेशन में हम बात करेंगे। विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस इन टुडेज सेशन। Alright, so that would be the session's discussion today. That is monsoon surprises in India, climate change है या फिर something else, whether it is the climate change or it is the any other thing that is responsible for the shift in the monsoon precipitation in India। और वो सारी चीजें आज के सेशन में हम आपका जो है डिस्कस करने वाले हैं। साथ ही साथ विल बी सीइंग हाउ दिस anomaly has been represented and साथ ही साथ what all different studies had been conducted और उन studies का क्या result रहा, that will be studying in this session and will be discussing in this session। But before moving ahead, let me tell you that we are offering you with 1:1 free mentorship। अगर आपको कहीं पर भी प्रॉब्लम है, कोई भी दिक्कत है, परेशानी है while preparing for the civil services for the IAS, ठीक है, या फिर PCS, आपको कहीं पर भी कोई भी प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, डाउट्स है, डिस्कशन है that you need to do with someone else, तो then you can get this guidance, the right guidance with the trusted mentors at श्रीराम्स IAS। और इसके लिए आपको करना क्या है, बहुत छोटा सा काम, ठीक है, हमारे डिस्क्रिप्शन में, इस वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में या फिर आपका जो है जो चैट है वहां पर आपको पिन कमेंट में यू विल फाइंड गूगल फॉर्म। उस गूगल फॉर्म पर आपको जाना है, आपको वो फिल करना है एंड इट इज कंप्लीटली फ्री। यू विल गेट 1:1 mentorship with the trusted mentors and the श्रीराम्स IAS। Now moving ahead, we'll be talking about over here the monsoon anomalies as well as surprises that were there। लेकिन आगे बढ़ने से पहले समझ लेते हैं कि monsoon है क्या। When we talk about monsoon, monsoon is nothing but it is the reversal of the seasonal winds which are there। ठीक है, जो आपका seasonal reversal होता है winds का, उसी को आपका monsoon कहा जाता है। ठीक है, and this monsoon is actually lifeline for our Indian subcontinent। क्योंकि अगर हम बात करें when we talk about in India, most of the agriculture it depends upon the monsoon। ठीक है, तो जब हम बात कर रहे हैं आपका monsoon की, the monsoon could be divided into two different types or two different frameworks। That is the southwest monsoon जो कि आपका समर में आता है and most of the rainfall that India gets is from the southwest monsoon। ठीक है, ये आपका जून से सितंबर तक आपका रेनफॉल के लिए आपका रिस्पॉन्सिबल है एंड दिस इज द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर इंडिया बिकॉज इट डिटरमाइंस द एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोडक्टिविटी। हमारे यहां पर जो एग्रीकल्चर है दैट इज मेनली डिपेंडेंट अपॉन दिस साउथ वेस्ट मॉनसून। ठीक है, द नेक्स्ट कम्स द नॉर्थ ईस्ट मॉनसून। ये आपका अक्टूबर से दिसंबर तक आपका रहता है। दिस ब्रिंग्स द विंटर रेन्स इन द सदर्न पेनिनसुलर रीजन्स, जो आप अभी फिलहाल देख रहे हैं इन द कोस्टल रीजन्स, है ना, आंध्र प्रदेश हो, चाहे वो आपका उड़ीसा हो या वेस्ट बंगाल हो, वहां पर जो इस अक्टूबर से नवंबर के बीच में और दिसंबर में आपका तमिलनाडु के कोस्टल रीजन में जो रेनफॉल होती है दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द नॉर्थ ईस्ट मॉनसून। तो मॉनसून जो है ये एक क्या है, दिस इज द रिवर्सल ऑफ द विंड्स सीजनली। ठीक है, सीजन के बाद आपका रिवर्सल ऑफ द विंड्स हो जाता है। देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ फिनोमेना दैट आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दिस। वी विल डिस्कस इट इन another session, but today we are discussing about the anomalies as well as the surprises that we got with the monsoon in today's session। Now why this topic is important, मैं आपको बता दूं why we are talking about this, why this topic is very very important for your upcoming sessions or the examination that you will be sitting for। क्योंकि monsoon जब हम बात करते हैं ना यूपीएससी की, when we talk about the UPSC, so there are certain topics जो कि यूपीएससी के फेवरेट है एंड मॉनसून इज द वन अमंग देम। ठीक है, मॉनसून से आपको क्वेश्चंस जरूर मिलेंगे, मॉनसून के ऊपर क्वेश्चंस जरूर आपका पूछे जाते हैं इन द यूपीएससी एग्जामिनेशन, चाहे किसी भी एग्जामिनेशन की हम बात कर रहे हैं। ठीक है, तो मॉनसून इज वन ऑफ द फेवरेट टॉपिक एंड दैट इज व्हाई दिस अगेन इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर यूपीएससी एग्जामिनेशन। नाउ जब हम बात करते हैं मॉनसून की, तो जो हमारे यहां पर वी हैव 70% ऑफ द एनुअल रेनफॉल दैट इज डिलीवर्ड ड्यूरिंग द मॉनसून मंथ्स एंड मैक्सिमम ये आपका साउथ वेस्ट मॉनसून के दौरान ही आपका होता है। एंड देन वी हैव द लाइवलीहुड्स ऑफ 60% ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन जो आपका मॉनसून के परफॉर्मेंस पे डिपेंडेंट है, बिकॉज आई टोल्ड यू द एग्रीकल्चर इन इंडिया इज डिपेंडेंट अपॉन द मॉनसून। और साथ ही साथ अगर हम बात करें एग्रीकल्चर आउटपुट डिपेंडेंस की, तो $500 बिलियन का इकोनॉमिक इंपैक्ट है जो कि मॉनसून हमारे यहां पर आपका जो है वो इम्पैक्ट करता है। नाउ when we are talking about the monsoon surprises, तो monsoon surprises में क्या क्या चीजें हैं जो कि हम यहां पर, या anomalies हैं जो हम यहां पर डिस्कस कर सकते हैं। what we can discuss right now is the first thing is the early onset। ठीक है, जब हम बात कर रहे हैं आपका arrival of the monsoon, तो अगर हम देखें तो नाउ जो अर्ली ऑनसेट ऑफ द मॉनसून है दैट इज अ सरप्राइजिंग फैक्टर। ठीक है, इसी के साथ साथ अगर हम बात करें आपका अनसीजनल रेनफॉल या प्रेसिपिटेशन ड्यूरिंग टिपिकली ड्राई पीरियड्स, अगेन दैट इज अ सरप्राइज दैट यू विल गेट एन एक्सट्रीम इवेंट्स। ठीक है, कंसंट्रेटेड क्लाउड बर्स्ट जो कि आपका स्टेडी रेनफॉल को आपका रिप्लेस कर रहे हैं, स्पेशली दैट वाज सीन इन उत्तराखंड, इन हिमाचल प्रदेश, एंड ये चीज अभी इस बार देखने को मिली, काफी ज्यादा मिली, और बहुत ज्यादा डिस्ट्रक्शन जो है वो दैट वाज डन बिकॉज ऑफ दीज एक्सट्रीम इवेंट्स। अलॉन्ग विद दिस देयर इज स्पेशल मिसमैच, जहां पर रेन जो है वो जितनी होनी चाहिए उतनी नहीं हो पा रही है। ठीक है, देयर आर ड्राई रीजन्स विच आर रिसीविंग मोर रेनफॉल। ठीक है, एंड देयर आर रीजन्स जहां पर आपका काफी ज्यादा बारिश होती थी और वहां पर जो बारिश है या फिर जो रेनफॉल प्रेसिपिटेशन परसेंटेज है दैट इज डिक्रीजिंग। सो देयर इज स्पेशल मिसमैच। ठीक है, रेन वेयर इट शुडंट बी, ड्रॉट वेयर इट शुड, यानी कि जहां पर आपका जो है सूखा होना चाहिए वहां पर बारिश हो रही है, और जहां पर बारिश होनी चाहिए वहां पर जो है परसेंटेज ऑफ द रेन या फिर प्रेसिपिटेशन इज गेटिंग रिड्यूस्ड एंड डिलेड विड्रॉल। जो मॉनसून है दैट हैज एक्सटेंडेड, और ये एक्सटेंशन ऑफ द मॉनसून इज एक्चुअली डिसरप्टिंग द एग्रीकल्चरल साइकिल्स। तो यही सारे जो मॉनसून सरप्राइजेस हैं दैट इज व्हाट वी आर डिस्कसिंग टुडे। व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द सरप्राइजेस, सरप्राइजेस का सीधा सीधा मतलब है, या आज का हमारा सेशन है, वेयर द मॉनसून हैज डिविएटेड फ्रॉम इट्स नॉर्मल पाथ। ठीक है, उसके बारे में हम बात कर रहे हैं। और अनप्रेसिडेंटेड प्री मॉनसून रेनफॉल जो है दैट वाज सीन अक्रॉस नॉर्थ वेस्टर्न इंडिया वीक्स बिफोर द ऑफिशियल ऑनसेट ऑफ द मॉनसून इन इंडिया इन 2025। और इस चीज को सब्सटैंशिएट करने के लिए यू कैन सी ओवर हियर दैट दिस इज द नॉर्मल पैटर्न। ठीक है, ये आपका नॉर्मल पैटर्न है। ठीक है, दैट इज डिफाइंड बाय दिस लाइन, ये आपका नॉर्मल पैटर्न है। बट व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट 2025, आप देख सकते हो वेयर द एनोमली लाइज। So this is where the anomaly lies, जहां पर जो मॉनसून है it has deviated from its normal pattern. All right, now if we are talking about the monsoon, so how this was, और ये जो unprecedented season है या फिर जो मॉनसून एनोमली है, how it has impacted India in 2025। तो जब मैं बात कर रहा हूं यहां पर, तो there was mid-May premature ऑनसेट ऑफ द मॉनसून। ठीक है, अर्ली ऑनसेट ऑफ द मॉनसून जो कि आपका जो है मई में आपका हुआ, मिड मई में हुआ। मॉनसून अराइव्ड 18 डेज अर्ली अक्रॉस द केरला कोस्ट। ठीक है, केरला कोस्ट में, कर्नाटका में, जहां पर द फार्मर्स वर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर द अर्ली ऑनसेट। ऑलराइट, इसी के साथ साथ अगर हम बात करते हैं आपका, तो लेट मई और जून में देयर वाज हेवी प्री मॉनसून शावर्स। ठीक है, अगर हम बात करते हैं नॉर्थ वेस्टर्न स्टेट्स की, तो वहां पर 280% आपका अबव नॉर्मल रेनफॉल जो है वो आपका रिसीव हुई, एंड दैट रिजल्टेड इनटू द फ्लैश फ्लड्स दैट वी हैड सीन when we are talking about उत्तराखंड और हिमाचल प्रदेश। ठीक है, इसी के साथ साथ अगर हम बात करते हैं जुलाई में देयर वाज वाइड स्प्रेड इनंडेशन, जहां पर हमने देखा देयर वाज फ्लडिंग इवेंट्स, चाहे वो आपका असम में हो, चाहे वो बिहार में हो, या फिर उत्तराखंड में भी हो। एंड अगेन when we are talking about August and September, there were erratic patterns in the rainfall distribution, और जो आपका ड्राई स्पेल और एक्सट्रीम रेनफॉल बर्स्ट थे that were there, that resulted into disrupting the cropping patterns in India. So these all were the extreme surprises जो हमने इस बार आपका देखे। And when we talk about the about the data, so there was 45% of India जो कि इफेक्ट हुआ with this monsoon surprises. Alright, there were 18, monsoon was 18 days early, and there was 280% excess of the rainfall जो कि above normal था। Now the question lies कि whether this is a climate change or there are other reasons also. हम नॉर्मली क्लाइमेट चेंज की बात करते हैं, वी टॉक अबाउट क्लाइमेट चेंज, बट देयर आर अदर फैक्टर्स आल्सो दैट इंपैक्ट्स द monsoon in India or impacts the rainfall in different regions. So अगर हम यहाँ पर देखें तो आप देख सकते हो कि how we have the historical patterns and emerging anomalies that we can see when we talk about the monsoon. ठीक है, यहाँ पर अगर आप देखें तो 1990s और 2000 के बीच का ये डेटा है. ठीक है, then we have the data. This has been मतलब for the decades you can see over here. लेकिन यहां पर 2011 से 2020 और 2020 21 से 23 24 और 25 यहां पर आप देख सकते हैं वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दी ऑनसेट बेसिकली माना जाता है फ्रॉम 1st ऑफ जून. इट इज decided that the onset of the monsoon is from 1st of June when it hits the Kerala coast. So over here you can see कि जो withdrawal है और साथ ही साथ onset है वो आपका early था या फिर आपका that was late. So over here आप देखोगे this is the onset and the onset had been early. Right from the 1990s it had been earlier, it was delayed, but then from over here, from 2001, you can see that the graph is going towards, early onset. और विड्रॉल की बात करें तो विड्रॉल जो है वो आपका ग्राफ बढ़ता चला जा रहा है, यानी कि द मॉनसून सीजन इज इंक्रीजिंग इन इंडिया. द नंबर ऑफ डेज दैट द मॉनसून स्टेज इट इज इंक्रीजिंग इन इंडिया. ठीक है, जो 1990 से 2020 का जो आपका 3 डिकेड्स का जो वी हैव द डेटा या हिस्टोरिकल डेटा वो आपका प्रिडिक्टेबल ऑनसेट के ऊपर आपका जो है दैट इज रिलाइड. ठीक है, साथ ही साथ प्रोग्रेशन और विड्रॉल पैटर्न्स. बट व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द रीसेंट चेंजेस और रीसेंट डिपार्चर्स तो 2021 से 2025 तक अगर आप डेटा देखते हैं तो इट शोज दैट देयर हैड बीन सिस्टमिक शिफ्ट इन द मॉनसून पैटर्न इन इंडिया. अब ये सिस्टमिक शिफ्ट क्या है? ठीक है, अगर हम देखें तो देयर इज अर्ली ऑनसेट ऑफ द मॉनसून. 20 से 12 दिन पहले 12 से 20 दिन पहले आपका मॉनसून जो है वो हमारे इंडिया में दस्तक दे देता है. ठीक है, जो रेनफॉल इज कंसंट्रेटेड इन शॉर्टर बर्स्ट, कुछ ही समय में और बहुत ज्यादा रेनफॉल. दैट इज अगेन अ इमर्जिंग पैटर्न दैट यू कैन सी. एक्सटेंडेड विड्रॉल पीरियड्स, जो विड्रॉल पीरियड्स हैं वो आपका जो है बढ़ते चले जा रहे हैं, यानी कि मॉनसून सीजन और मॉनसून इज इट इज स्टेइंग फॉर मोर नंबर ऑफ डेज इन इंडिया. ठीक है, एंड इंक्रीज्ड स्पेशल वेरिएबिलिटी, यानी कि आप अगर देखें तो जहां पर जितनी बारिश होनी चाहिए वहां पर वो जो इराटिक पैटर्न है दैट इज डेवलपिंग, और जहां पर जितनी बारिश होनी चाहिए या जितनी बारिश होती थी या तो वो कम हो गई है या वो बहुत ज्यादा हो गई है. सो दैट इज व्हाट वी आर सीइंग राइट नाउ एंड दीज आर द डिफरेंट पैटर्न्स व्हिच आर इमर्जिंग राइट नाउ. और जो नेगेटिव वैल्यूज है ये अर्लियर टाइमिंग्स को आपका शो करती हैं ओवर हियर. तो इफ इट इज गोइंग डाउन दैट मींस द टाइमिंग इट इज अर्ली ऑनसेट. ठीक है, ये अर्ली ऑनसेट है और साथ ही साथ लेट विड्रॉल आप यहां पर देख सकते हैं कि दिस इज हाउ द मॉनसून इज इमर्जिंग इन इंडिया. किस तरीके से मॉनसून हमारे इंडिया में आपका इमर्ज हो रहा है राइट नाउ. नाउ व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द क्लाइमेट चेंज it is the primary suspect. Whenever we talk about the different anomalies, of course we talk about the climate change and it is the prime suspect कि इसकी वजह से ऐसा हो रहा है. ठीक है, अगर हम बात करें तो हमारे पास उसके लिए वी हैव डिफरेंट डेटाज एज वेल, वी हैव डिफरेंट स्टडीज व्हिच हैड बीन कंडक्टेड. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम देखें तो देयर इज ओशनिक वार्मिंग दैट इज हैपनिंग राइट नाउ. अरेबियन सी की अगर मैं बात करूं तो अरेबियन सी का जो टेम्परेचर है दैट हैज इंक्रीज्ड 0.8 डिग्री सेल्सियस सिंस 1980s और इसकी वजह से इवेपोरेशन और मॉइस्चर कंटेंट आपका इंक्रीज हो चुका है. ठीक है, तो अगेन व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट अरेबियन सी द टेम्परेचर हैव इंक्रीज 0.8 डिग्री सेल्सियस आपका 1980s से. ठीक है, इसी के साथ साथ वी हैव एनहांस्ड मॉइस्चर, जो वार्मर एटमॉस्फेयर है दैट होल्ड्स मोर मॉइस्चर. राइट, सो वी हैव वार्मर एटमॉस्फेयर जहां पर आपका ज्यादा मॉइस्चर आपका वो होल्ड कर सकता है एंड इट होल्ड्स 7% मोर वाटर वेपर पर 1 डिग्री सेल्सियस वार्मिंग, जिसकी वजह से आपका मॉनसून सिस्टम एनहांस हो रहा है. ठीक है, एंड देन वी हैव एक्सट्रीम रेनफॉल, जो स्टेडी प्रेसिपिटेशन होती थी. आपने पता नहीं मेरे को आपने देखा है नहीं देखा है, हमने जरूर देखा है अपने बचपन में कि जब मॉनसून आता था तो एक बार में 6-6, 7-7, 8-8, 10-10 दिन बारिश होती रहती थी. बट नाउ दैट इज चेंजिंग. Alright, there is no steady rainfall that you will see during the monsoon season. I'm talking about where I was living since 1990s. Alright, in the northern plains. Alright, यहाँ पर and especially I'm talking about Western Uttar Pradesh and Delhi and NCR region, यहाँ पर 8-8 10 दिन बारिश होना बहुत नॉर्मल था. So there was steady precipitation, but now there are extreme events. और यहाँ पर अगर देखें तो अब जो है steady precipitation आपका होना बंद हो चुका है. We have more rainfall in a very shorter duration that is happening. So जो thermodynamic intensification है monsoon rainfall का, that is unequivocal, and though we have dynamically responses that remains uncertain right now. ठीक है, तो आप यहां पर देख सकते हैं कि किस तरीके से वी हैव राइजिंग टेम्परेचर्स व्हेन इट कम्स टू अरेबियन सी और बे ऑफ बंगाल और इक्वेटोरियल इंडियन ओशन रीजन. तो आप यहां पर देख सकते हैं द अरेबियन सी द टेम्परेचर हैव इंक्रीज्ड 0.8 डिग्री सेल्सियस since 1980s over here in this graph. Now, when we are talking about the climate change or the climate science, we have certain evidences as well that we have gathered. ठीक है, अगर हम बात करते हैं आपका IPCC रिपोर्ट्स की या प्रोजेक्शंस की, तो देयर इज हाई कॉन्फिडेंस इन इंक्रीज मॉनसून एज पर IPCC रिपोर्ट्स. ठीक है, कि वहां पर जो प्रेसिपिटेशन है उसमें वेरिएबिलिटी आपको मिलेगी. देयर वुड बी वेरिएशंस दैट यू विल सी इन प्रेसिपिटेशन और रेनफॉल इवेंट्स, एंड साथ ही साथ देयर विल बी एक्सट्रीम डेली रेनफॉल इवेंट्स ओवर साउथ एशिया. इसके साथ साथ अगर मैं बात करता हूं इंडियन स्टडीज की, so we have different Indian studies also that have confirmed that there would be erratic patterns that would be seen when it comes to Indian monsoon. ठीक है, IIT दिल्ली की आपका एक स्टडी है that has been conducted, और IIT दिल्ली की स्टडी के अकॉर्डिंग there would be 75% increase in extreme rainfall events. और ये जो स्टडी है it has taken the data from 2000 to 2020, यानी कि 20 साल का डेटे के ऊपर ये आपका पूरी स्टडी निर्धारित है या फिर आधारित है. ठीक है, इसी के साथ साथ IITM पुणे, ठीक है, वहां पर उन्होंने आपका जो स्टडी की दैट हैज शोन दैट देयर आर शिफ्टिंग पैटर्न्स, शिफ्टिंग रेनफॉल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन पैटर्न्स, जो कि आपका वेट एक्सट्रीम्स की तरफ आपका जो है अंदेशा देते हैं, और वेट एक्सट्रीम की तरफ आपका जो है दे पोर्ट्रेज. एंड देन देयर इज अ स्टडी दैट हैड बीन कंडक्टेड बाय IISc बैंगलोर. ठीक है, वेयर दे हैव जो उसका आपका जो निष्कर्ष निकला दैट वाज द वीकनिंग लार्ज स्केल सर्कुलेशन इज देयर डिस्पाइट इंटेंस लोकल इवेंट्स विच आर देयर. ठीक है, तो वेट गेट्स वेटर एंड ड्राई गेट्स ड्रायर. दैट इज बेसिकली द व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द कंक्लूजन ऑफ दीज रिपोर्ट्स. ठीक है, नाउ व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द क्लाइमेट चेंज, so it is climate change also, and also there are various factors on which the Indian monsoon depends. Now, when we are talking about the ENSO influence, what is ENSO influence? It is El Nino Southern Oscillation impact or the influence that is there on the Indian monsoon. Alright, so now over here, El Nino suppresses the monsoon. El Nino have a negative impact on the Indian monsoon, and the 2023 paradox have showed that fewer rainy days were there, yet more extreme rainfall events were there during the El Nino phenomena or El Nino event. At the same time, we have IOD event as well. We have two types of IOD events, where we have positive IOD or Indian Ocean Dipole that results into more rainfall in India, and we have negative IOD as well, where we have decreased rainfall in India or decreased precipitation in India. Alright, now when we're talking about the positive IOD events that will enhance the monsoon rainfall over the complete of India, then we have MJO or Madden-Julian oscillation as well. It is intra-seasonal variability of the temperature, and it modulates the active break cycles, and there are increased erratic behavior in the recent years when it comes to the MJO as well. Alright, and then there are western disturbances. They are majorly important for the winter rainfall. जो सर्दियों में बारिश होती है, अभी now you have seen that there was snowfall when it comes to when it comes to the Jammu Kashmir or in Himachal as well. तो जो snowfall है, जो रेनफॉल है इन द नॉर्थ एंड नॉर्थ वेस्ट ऑफ इंडिया ड्यूरिंग द विंटर्स, दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द वेस्टर्न डिस्टर्बेंसेस. ठीक है, एंड दे इंटरैक्ट विद मॉनसून एज वेल, और इसकी वजह से आपका वी हैव different and extreme events that have been there in the Himalayas as well. Alright, so these are the different natural oscillations that interact with the anthropogenic warming or the climate warming, the global warming that we are talking about right now, and all these events along with the climate change that produces the different extreme events when it comes to the monsoon in India. Now, when we talk about, is there something else also? All right. So that was the thing that I was talking about, that it is not just the climate change, but there are other factors as well that have led to the various surprises that we are getting when it comes to the monsoon in India. Now, the first thing is the urban heat island. When it comes to the urban heat islands, basically we are talking about the urban regions, all right, the cities which had been which are there, and basically the cities, the houses in the cities, they are made up of by the concrete which absorbs more of temperature, and these metropolitan areas, they create localized convection because of it, because the temperature in these metropolitan areas, in the city areas, that is more as compared to the rural regions, and that intensifies the rainfall all over the region, all right, and also the downwind of the cities. Like for example, when it comes to Delhi, there had been 22% increase in extreme hourly rainfall. Also, when it comes to Mumbai, the urban induced convective enhancement has led to more extreme events when it comes to Mumbai as well. So there are urban heat islands as well that is impacting the monsoon patterns in India, especially when it comes to the spatial interventions or the spatial patterns when it comes. All right. Then comes the deforestation impact. There had been loss of forest cover. In my previous sessions, I have told you that we are actually, when it comes to on papers, on ground, we are increasing the forest cover, but we are only relying on the monoculture. All right, we have spoken about this in our previous session. And now when I'm talking about the desertification or the deforestation impact that is there, so you will see that actually what has happened is that we have covered more of the area, but the amount of canopy had been lost, or put in simple words, that we have focused on the quality but the quantity, we have focused on quantity but the quality has reduced. So यहाँ पर अगर हम देखें, और मैं आपको एक और चीज बता दूं, there had been a recent report where it had been it had been in the news that the Australian forest now, as compared to what amount of carbon dioxide they were intaking or they were sequestering before, अब वो amount of carbon dioxide had reduced and now they are releasing more carbon dioxide as compared to intaking the carbon dioxide and storing it. तो अगर हम बात करते हैं डिफॉरेस्टेशन की, तो डिफॉरेस्टेशन, when you will see that we have Western Ghats where 18% of the forest loss had been there since 2000, and in the northeast there is shifting cultivation that has resulted into loss of the forest cover. So again over here, this is a reason why we have erratic patterns when it comes to the rainfall. All right, then there are irrigation impacts or effects as well. When we are talking about the irrigation, we have extensive groundwater irrigation that increases the atmospheric moisture that is there. All right, and also potentially amplifying the local convention. Like for example, if we'll talk about Punjab and Haryana, there were enhanced pre-monsoon moisture, और साथ ही साथ पंजाब में we have seen that there was flooding during this season again. But it's not just about it. We have other reasons as well which were not looked properly after when the monsoon have come to India. All right, and then when we are talking about Rajasthan, there is greening influencing that is influencing the rainfall. We have the pattern, cropping pattern that is impacting the rainfall in Rajasthan as well. So there is an emerging evidence that the land use modification may account for 15 to 30% of regional rainfall anomalies when it comes to the spatial interaction. All right, now there is a case study over here about Rajasthan. All right, the rainfall revival or the more rainfall that is now you are seeing in Rajasthan. When it comes to Rajasthan, the Thar Desert region have shown that there is unexpected rainfall increase over the past 25 years, and that you can see over here. There is an increase, you can see the amount of the increase in the rainfall when it comes to the Thar Desert region. Now, what are the potential mechanism or reasons about the increase in the rainfall in Rajasthan? Now, the first thing is that we have positive IOD events that would have led to frequent favorable oceanic current as well as conditions to shed more rainfall in the Thar Desert region. There are irrigation expansion as well, where we have Indira Gandhi Canal that is being used for the agriculture in the region, and there are 1.5 million hectare that depends, the cropping land that depends on Indira Gandhi Canal that is there. Then there is land atmospheric coupling as well. When it comes to vegetation, vegetation enhances the amount of moisture that is there in the atmosphere. Alright, so it is not just the evaporation but transpiration as well that contributes to the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. तो यहाँ पर जब हम बात करते हैं तो it is the impact of the land atmospheric coupling as well, where the vegetation must have enhanced the moisture in Thar Desert region, and also western disturbances which have brought moisture and changed the tracks of the of the rainfall patterns in Rajasthan that we are seeing right now. So there is increasing rainfall in the Thar Desert region in the Rajasthan, and there had been cases, or this is a case where there had been revival of rainfall in Rajasthan. But at the same time, we'll see another case study, and that is from the Western Himalayas. All right, this time we have seen that there was lots of loss of life and property in Western Himalayas. So how it happened, or what was the reason behind it that it happened? All right, so there was a study by IIT Roorkee, and I will talk about this study, that there were chain reaction and that led to the disasters that we have seen in 2025 monsoon season in Western Himalayas. The first thing is there was extreme rainfall event where there was 325 millimeter rainfall in 24 hours across Uttarakhand. That was on 15th and 16th July. All right. Then there was there was extreme rainfall events that were there. There was slope destabilization. All right, there was slope destabilization that was because of different factors. The factor were deforestation. The factor were, building of different roads and the expressways that have been constructed, the various tunnels which have been, constructed along the different route margins in Uttarakhand and even in Himachal Pradesh. So that has, the slope destabilization had triggered 180 plus landslides, and they have blocked the river channels. The river channels were blocked because of these landslides. There was temporary dam formation where the debris that was, that came along with the landslide that had blocked and created unstable reservoirs storing millions of cubic waters into them. And then there was catastrophic release where these dams, they breached, generated the flash floods, overwhelming the downstream communities. And that is why we have seen lots of flash floods in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh in this monsoon season. All right, there was infrastructure destruction where roads, bridges, and even the hydropower facilities were damaged, and there were total 85 fatalities that were reported, and also there were 250,000 people that were displaced in 2025 monsoon catastrophe that hit Uttarakhand and Himachal like states. All right, so it is the climate and topography interaction that had led to such mass casualties as well as the devastation that we have seen. Now, when it comes to the spatial heterogeneity, that is when we talk about the monsoon. All right, so there had been, when we are talking about 2025, so there had been regions where we had the excessive rainfall and also regions where we have the deficit rainfall. When it comes to the excessive rainfall was seen in Western India, where there were 85 and more above the normal percentage of rainfall that happened. In the Himalayan foothill regions, where we have more than 62% rainfall, and in coastal Karnataka and Kerala, where there was more than 48% rainfall from the normal levels. At the same time, when we are talking about deficit rainfall regions, so we had deficit rainfall in eastern Gangetic Plain, where the rainfall was below 28% below the normal level. In the central India, it was 18% below normal, and in Telangana and Andhra interior, it was 35% below the normal levels. All right, so when we are talking about the monsoon, it is now fragmenting or fracturing, and there are different anomalies that you can see when it comes to monsoon in India. And when we analyze the 2025 data and the catastrophe that stuck in India. Now, when we talk about the temporal shift, all right, so how this misbehaving, or we have the different surprises and why they are important. So there were unseasonal May rainfall, the pre-monsoon season rainfall that have disrupted the wheat harvest in India, all right, across Punjab and Haryana. Then there was compressed monsoon core where the rainfall was concentrated in July, August, rather than it was distributed all throughout the different months from June to September. So it was majorly concentrated in 2 months, that is July and August. And there was delayed withdrawal where monsoon had persisted into late October and interfered with the Rabi crops sowing, and there were off-season cyclones that are yet to come. There was already one cyclone that have visited the Odisha coast, and there would be other cyclones as well that would be, or we will see during November and December. The frequency of the cyclones, in my previous session I have told you that they will increase, and these cyclones will also be destructive when it comes to India. All right. Now, when it comes to the crop impact, you can see that there was loss, severe loss, whether it comes to wheat, cotton, soybean, pulses, sugarcane or ragi, when we are talking about whole of India. Especially when we are talking about Punjab, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka. So there was severe loss of the crops as well. All right. And because of the loss, there was food inflation where the prices of the vegetables went up to 42%, the pulses up to 28% because of the supply disruptions. There were farmer distress where it is estimated that 85,000 crore had been the agricultural losses that will affect 45 million farmhouses. All right, and there would be a supply chain stress as well because there were the transportation supply or the transportation disruption during the floods that have created the supply chain bottlenecks or the regional shortages as we have seen, and these will continue. So if we are moving into the another year, all right, and if you are thinking like an administrator, so you have to take the lessons that were there and then you have to plan, you have to strategize, and then you have to emerge for the new India. All right, now when we talk about the hydrological and disaster impact, so there were flood catastrophe that have affected the different regions, whether it is Assam where 3.8 million were affected and 125 deaths were reported. In Himachal there was severe infrastructure loss because of the flash floods, and in Bihar there were 2.2 million displaced and widespread crop damage that was done. When it comes to the erosion and landslide, there were concentrated rainfall that have resulted or it produced 40% more mass wasting events or flash floods than 2000 to 2020 average, and the riverbank erosion had displaced lots of people, 85,000 people, households in the Brahmaputra basin. And when it comes to groundwater paradox, due to or despite we had high rainfall, seasonal rainfall, there are short duration, intense events that have resulted into poor aquifer exchanges or recharge. You know, when the water or when the rainfall happens for more continuous days, so you know the slow rainfall and it extends to a longer duration of the period, so there is proper aquifer recharge that happens. The water properly seeps in and goes into the groundwater. But at the same time, when the rainfall is in a form of burst and for a very short duration time, the amount of water is very heavy or it is in large quantity for very short time. So what happens is most of the water, it goes off as a surface runoff. So therefore, we had high rainfall season and there was very less or very low groundwater replenishment that happened when it comes to the rainfall. And over here you can see that how these events have increased. The flood events have increased from 2020 to 2025. In the same way, you can see over here the landslides as well as the population that were affected in 2025. All right. So when we are talking about urbanization, urbanization is also amplifying the extreme events. It is not just the climate change, but also urbanization, and the cities, they have modified the monsoon or the pattern of the monsoon as well. All right. When it comes to the 2025 extreme events in the various cities, you will see that there were 112 millimeter rainfall in 3 hours in Delhi on 8th of July. In Mumbai as well, on 22nd July, there was 298 or millimeters rainfall in 24 hours. At the same time, you will see in Bengaluru as well, and also in Hyderabad as well. These have exceeded the 100-year return period estimates as well. So there had been total 35% rainfall enhancement over the cities as compared to the rural or the village surroundings that are there. There had been a total of 55% runoff increase, which is because of the impervious surfaces, because we have the metalled roads and even impervious surfaces when it comes to the cities. And there had been, when we talk about the urban heat exchange, the temperature differential that is deriving this convective currents is 2.8 degrees Celsius. So all this, the urbanization, the urban cities have also modified the impact of the monsoon. All right. Now, what are these challenges when it comes to the models, the various models that we are using for prediction, predictability of the monsoon? So there are certain challenges when it comes to forecasting and models as well. Monsoon have a planetary scale circulation. When it comes to the monsoon in India, it is dependent upon El Niño, it is dependent upon IOD, it is dependent upon the various factors which are there. So it does not impact, or it is not just the Indian Ocean that impacts the monsoon in India, but it has a planetary scale circulation, and when it comes to mesoscale convention as well, and therefore there have to be multi-scale interaction when it comes to predictability of the monsoon in India. All right, there is onset prediction weakness where the current model, they struggle with the timing precision. We cannot precisely tell when the monsoon will start, or there would be a onset of the monsoon in India, and we miss by 7 to 12 or 14 days despite improved physics that we have in the models. All right. Also, when it comes to the convective parameterization schemes, they fail to capture the localized cloudburst intensity. We can have a general prediction about the monsoon in India, but we do not, or we still do not have that type of predictability where we can predict the cloudburst that will happen. All right. And therefore, we do not have the extreme event representation when it comes to the models that we are using for prediction of the monsoon. All right. There is also land atmosphere coupling that have to be taken into the impact, and therefore with all these things, because we are lacking somewhere in these things, so these things have to be taken into the consideration when we are talking about the future models that we will develop. And it is not that we are not investing into it. As you can see over here, that when it comes to IMD modernization, 1500 crore had been already underway for the phase 2, and the completion will be by 2027. When it comes to National Adaptation Fund, we have 6800 crores that have been allocated for climate resilience progress or the projects, and we have crop insurance as well, where the coverage has expanded to the 36 million farmers that are there, and the weather indices had been updated. At the same time, there are state action plans as well, where we have the 28 states which have revised the monsoon response protocol after the 2023 events that were there. So when it comes to monsoon, when we are talking about monsoon, it is no longer what it used to be, and neither can our response be. Our response has to be it has to synchronize with the changing monsoon or the changing events that we are seeing in the monsoon. All right, we have to deepen our science, we have to deepen our models, we have to integrate, and we have to have multi-scale models integration, so that we can have a clear prediction and even the localized prediction that should be there. We have to innovate the adaptation, we have to develop flexible systems and also build resilience capacity when it comes to the monsoon in India. So that would be all, and these are all the different surprises what we have studied in today's session, and also how the monsoons are changing and what is the need for a better better and enhanced models for projecting or seeing how the monsoon will react in India. Alright, so that would be all in today's session. I hope that you have liked the session. Alright, so do not forget to like the session as well as share with your friends who are preparing for the civil services. Again, let me tell you, this topic is very important because it is one of the favorite topic of UPSC. Alright, so like the session, share the session, as well as do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more such important updates in future. So that would be all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care and Jai Hind. Thank you.